Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Citrus Insights from our offices in Sevenoaks. I am thrilled to have today's guest join us, Matthew Cumber, Managing Director, Countrywide Surveyors. For those that maybe didn't see last year's interview I had with Matt, a little bit of information for Countrywide Surveyors. So they are one of the largest and most trusted property surveying and valuation businesses in the UK, actually. They're out for lenders and buyers. They've got kind of over, I think it's about 700 personnel, many of whom are RICS qualified, which is the qualification required for surveying. So huge firm, delighted to have Matt join us. And just before I get the chance to kind of ask Matt a couple of questions, I do want to say a couple of bits. The first thing is, I reckon that his team have an amazing job overall, because for any viewers that are a bit like me, you know, this is a topic that we love in the UK. This is about involving not just kind of the surveying side, but the value, the price bit. So we know we go home, we pass a board, an estate agent's board on the market. We should really think, oh no, one of my neighbours is moving. I wonder where they're going. What we actually do is go home, log on and see how much their house is on the market for. So what a great job to have. But I also just want to say, Matt, when we met last January, it was amongst all the doom and gloom that existed in the UK economy at the time, and some would think we maybe haven't come that far in 12 months, but it was worse 12 months ago. Interest rates were higher. The number of people coming to the end of their, borrowers coming to the end of a fixed rate product that we're going to see quite sharp increases was still high. The election was due and people were going, the housing market's going to fall off a cliff, when you were brave enough to sit in front and say to us, do you know what? Actually, everything is looking pretty good. So I have to congratulate you, because actually amongst all of that doom and gloom, you were the ray of sunshine, but more importantly, you were the correct ray of sunshine you were correct with your predictions. And actually talking today, we've literally just seen the Halifax House Price Index. Other house price indexes are available, but the Halifax one that's just come out has said actually UK average house prices have hit an all-time high. So there we are, the build up. Thank you so much for joining us today, Matthew. And it'd be great to get your views on. So how are we looking for 2025?
Morning, Richard. Morning, everybody. Yeah, I'm glad to see that I went down so well last time. I'll try and be balanced and perspective in my outlook. But one thing to say always about the UK housing market, we are so robust. In the UK, we are so robust. I'm not a doomsayer and I'm not a doom gloomer. You look forward to what the positives are. And interesting, the house price index that came out, 2025, from my perspective, will be a very strong year again. 2024 was a huge improvement on 23. And as we move into 25, there's going to be challenges ahead. Don't get me wrong, there will be. But you look at what happened with the Bank of England, obviously already dropped the base rates. Now, the likelihood is that needs to follow through into borrower rates. The lower borrower rates, the more people are encouraged to get on the housing market and buy houses. That will continue. Now, yes, the Bank of England said about the growth rates being reduced. That aside, people still need places to live. You can't get beyond that. Now, the government clearly has come out and said they're going to build an awful lot of new build houses, which again, it's an optimistic outlook, but I think you have to put a target there somehow. Otherwise, you don't have a target, you never got anything to aim for. So it will probably slow in the output, but 2025 for me, Richard, is going to be another positive year again. It will be. House prices will continue to outperform what anyone ever thinks they're going to do.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you for that. And great to hear, actually. So as a homeowner, great to hear. If you're, one of the things I look at is say, well, with rates coming down, and if that filters, that does filter through, obviously, to fixed rate borrowing as well. Is it a simple situation with supply and demand being as it is? Because, the UK population is going up, not down. So on that basis, is it a simple math that says actually just as borrowing costs ease off, house prices go up because the demand doesn't go away, but the affordability actually starts to improve slightly?
Yeah, totally that. I mean, lower mortgage rates when they come through will necessarily look to promote growth. It will do. Now, particularly, that will affect us in a massive positive way in the south of England. It will. Because obviously house prices are higher here than they are in the north of England. North of England aren't massively affected by huge lowering of borrowing rates. We will be in the south, and that's really, really encouraging. In terms of the types of properties as well that people like to buy and look at, Again, I was looking at the prices that people are achieving for flats versus people achieving for houses, and people are sometimes too quick to knock flats. But honestly, that is still brilliant first-time buyer territory. So the flat market in the UK will still in terms of prices, will still go up. Clearly, it's never as high as houses do, but that market, I think, and we'll see over the next couple of years, flats and obviously building, we need more starter homes in the UK. So that is a market I still think we should keep an eye on. Totally.
That's interesting. And given the stamp duty change, Matt, so that's the next piece. We see people have jumped on to go, oh, stamp duty changes at the end of March. That's going to be the next thing that trips the market up. What are you seeing from a demand perspective at this stage?
If you wanted to take effect of the stamp duty changes, you'd have already got your mortgage application in. We all seen how long it now takes to complete a chain. So we have not seen any drop off in valuation instructions since the start of the year to now. So that means that those people are accepting the fact that they're not going to take the benefit of the stamp duty. So that market's still going on. So I think that's gone. It's over. It's beyond us. Clearly, it's going to have a pinch point for conveyancers, but I'm seeing new work, new transactions, new properties going through. And that's the important bit.
And is that across sectors? So you talked about flats, and I guess we've probably talked mainly, without saying it openly, residential. From a buy-to-let perspective, obviously, stamp duty, second homes, etc. What are you seeing in that market?
Interesting market, because clearly the doomsayers said that market was over, that was closed, that was dead. Absolutely contrary. 2024 for us saw a 30% uplift from 2023 in buy-to-let instructions. So that is more people clearly, the professional buy-to-let landlords are still adding to their stock. Here's an interesting stat for you as well, Richard. You cast your mind back 2016, okay, long time ago. There are now, this is just London, there are now 47% lower rental homes available now in London than there were in 2016. So there's still a massive market for buy-to-let, because again, people have to have somewhere to live. So that we will still see this year more buy-to-lets. And you've seen what the lenders like. They adapt, they change, they come out with different criteria, niche criteria, sorting out the affordability. So there's always a huge, huge, robust market there for the buy-to-let.
And typically, therefore, Matt, sounds very similar over the demand is still there because the rental demand, the supply has been squeezed a bit, and therefore you get this spike in I guess rental prices again.
Yeah, rental prices. We've seen a slight dip in the rents being achieved, which is only a good thing, really. That's a good thing. Calmed it all down, but the availability of the housing stock for rent has reduced. So yes, I can see landlords coming into that market, buying up opportunities, buying up properties, and that will continue.
Brilliant. Okay, so if I'm currently maybe looking to sell and buy somewhere bigger, and I'm looking at everything going, actually, you know what, whether sell and buy, whatever the market is, I need to move for whatever reasons I need to move. I want to try and make sure that I hear what the estate agent says, but when the valuer or surveyor turns up to look at my property and go, thumbs up, kind of, we agree. So the person buying mine is paying the right price. What can I do? There's lots of rumors about, baking fresh bread and coffee, etc. But in reality, what can I really do to try and make sure I secure the best possible price for the property that I'm selling?
Unless you're going to give that fresh bread and coffee to the surveyor that turns up, you just got to make sure, I think, that your property, if you're selling it, is in a good state of repair and condition. So if you know there's anything wrong with that, go and sort it out before you put it on the market. You'll never be able to mask that from the surveyor. The surveyor will find that. The surveyor has to achieve market value. So he comments on the market value of that property at the time. So it's what is happening in your street, your location, in your area. So just make sure that, as I said, that you're sorting out the condition of that property for when the valuer / surveyor goes around to have a look at it. Estate agents aside, they're there to achieve an aim to market that property and to sell it on your behalf. But it's the buyer. It's the buyer that's the important bit. What are they prepared to pay?
That's really helpful information. I guess ultimately as well, from a surveyor's perspective, they're trying to look at, if you're needing to raise money against that property, they're trying to look at, is the lender secure? in providing that money. So that value needs to stack up both from a price and a safety perspective for lender, ideally.
Totally. We have contracts, as you know, with lenders, big high street lenders, and we're there to protect their interests, to make sure that they're lending on an asset that is a good asset for them to lend on. Simple as that, really.
Okay, fantastic. And then it would be remiss of me not to ask you a little bit about 2024, given how accurate you were. And I'm always, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? I look and go, if there was one or two places where I wish I'd known that they were going to just fly last year, that I would have gone and bought somewhere, come on, give us something that says, what can you say about any highlights from last year?
Still, you'll see some market towns in and around the south coast, still very, very popular. Areas of Brighton, areas of Hove. What is happening in a lot of these areas that are popular, though, is the houses on the outskirts of the built-up area, still popular, still achieving more than the average norm in terms of house price growth. So anywhere where there's nice to live and people want to live, what you're seeing is that is nice little bubbles within the certain bigger geographical areas. So it's nice schools, Richard. It's nice environments. So if you've got something nice to do at the weekend, we don't necessarily have to travel far. All those good stuff. But the age-old phrase of location always does.
And did you see any, probably a final one for me there, Matt? We talked last year, interestingly, it was about VAT and school fees and the impact on properties near excellent state schools. And potentially the opposite happening, where they were near very expensive independent schools that were passing on 100% of the VAT increase to parents locally. So did you see that really happen? Did it?
Not yet, and I don't think that's seen its way through yet, because obviously that's sort of happened, and the VAT on private schools is coming now. So people that are moving their children out, we will start to see, and we do track it to see where there's bubbles in certain geographical postcode areas that arise, and why because of that. So too early, maybe this time next year, Richard, if you ask me back, I might be able to give you some more exact science around that.
Fantastic. Okay. All right. Well, that's a great reason for me to be able to invite you back again next year, when we will go back over and see whether this year has panned out exactly as you said, like last year. Obviously, we all accept this, past performance doesn't guarantee future and all those things we love to talk about. But Matt, listen, it's really great to hear your views for 2025. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for sharing some of the highlights for 2024. I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Delighted. Thank you.
That's all for today. A big thanks to Matt. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye for now. Look forward to seeing you again soon.